Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Indian Kitchen Abroad. Thanksgiving is next week. On the occasion of that, we are going to make an all Indian Thanksgiving dinner. Roast chicken with Indian spices, spiced potatoes instead of mashed potatoes, and mint and coriander rice. Let's start with the bird. We are going to butterfly or spatchcock the chicken by removing the spine with kitchen shears. You can do this with a knife as well. With this method of cooking, all parts of the bird will be exposed to the heat evenly. And this helps in crisping up that skin evenly, and also when we roast the bird with legs facing back of the oven, the legs will be exposed to more heat and the whole bird finishes at the right temperature for both breasts and the legs. Don't throw away the spine, we are going to make a simple gravy out of this at the end. Simply press on the breastbone to make the bird lay flat. We are going to roast this bird in 500 degrees oven for about 50 minutes. That is going to be too much for the wingtips and they burn in that high heat. So I'm going to snip them off and store them for the stock. The next objective is to make the skin as dry as possible. More drier the skin, the more crispier it gets. That means we have to remove the moisture out of the skin. The best ingredient for that is salt. Pat the skin of the bird dry with paper towels and make the salt rain on the bird. Be sure to cover all the surface area with the salt. And this goes into the fridge for a couple of hours. After a couple of hours, you'll see some moisture on the bird. Pat the skin dry with paper towels to remove that moisture, and if you have time, repeat this once or twice or leave it overnight with more salt for even better results. Now we are going to prepare a mixture of butter and spices to rub underneath the skin. This gives a more deep flavor to the meat. Start with 2 to 3 tablespoons of softened butter, olive oil, and use whatever spices you have. I'm going with some basic spices like turmeric powder, coriander powder, red chili powder, and garam masala. Zest of 1 lemon, juice of half a lemon, a touch of yogurt, and about a teaspoon of salt. We are going to season outside of the bird with plenty of salt, so go easy on the salt here. Mix all of these to form a paste-like consistency of mixture. The quantity of spices depends on the size of your bird. Just eyeball the quantities. If you are cooking a turkey, it's a big bird. Maybe you have to double the quantity of everything here. We are going to rub this butter mixture underneath the skin. Before that, season inside of the bird with some salt. Now start by sliding your fingers between the meat and the skin to loosen that skin from the meat. Separate as much skin as you can reach. Do the same on the breast side and with the legs also. Pat the skin dry again and start inserting the butter and spice mixture with a spoon and try to spread it as evenly as possible and as much as you can. Do the same thing on the legs also and spread it evenly by pushing the marinade from the outside. For one last time, pat that skin dry again and season outside of the bird with some oil, generous amount of salt and pepper. You don't want to rub any of this butter mixture on the outside of the bird because it's butter, it has low smoking point and it's going to burn. Just use some neutral oil on the skin like vegetable oil. And this goes into a 400 degree Fahrenheit or 230 degrees Celsius preheated oven for 50 minutes. While the bird is roasting in the oven, it's time to cook rest of the dinner. I'm using colored baby potatoes. You can peel the skin if you want, I'm not going to do that. I just washed them thoroughly. Cut them in half and boil them in some water and a lot of salt, about 2 tablespoons. And it takes about 20 minutes for them to be boiled. In the meantime, finely chop an onion, green chilies according to your taste, and a couple of garlic cloves. Add a teaspoon of mustard seeds and cumin seeds in a pan with hot oil and saute the onions until they become translucent. Then add the green chilies and garlic and saute for a couple of minutes. Then goes the powdered spices. A teaspoon of turmeric powder, coriander powder, and red chili powder. Cook these spices for a minute with a splash of water and add the boiled potatoes. Give it a good mix and sprinkle some garam masala at the end. Add some salt if necessary and finally finish it off with some fresh coriander leaves. It has been 30 minutes now. Now we have just enough time to cook the rice before the bird is done. We already made mint and coriander rice on this channel before. I'll link that video in the description box below if you want to check it out. If you're too lazy to check it out, here it goes. Saute the onions and green chilies with a teaspoon of cumin seeds in oil or butter. Add a pinch of salt so that the onions cook faster and add the washed and drained rice. Saute for a couple of minutes and add the chopped mint and coriander leaves. Saute for a couple of more minutes. Don't burn the rice. Add some frozen peas if you want and add the water, 2 times the quantity of rice. Taste the water and season it according to your taste. This water has to be slightly saltier, only then you'll get the perfect seasoning in the rice. Cook with the lid on until all the water is evaporated. Give it a mix at this point so that all the peas and everything else is evenly distributed in the rice Put the lid on, cook on low heat for 5 minutes, turn off the heat and let it sit for 20 minutes. And that is it. With just 10 to 15 minutes of active work, you will get the fluffiest rice in your life. And now it's time for the bird. The skin has turned out to be so crispy. How crispy, you ask? Just listen to this. That is because of the dry brine method we used in the starting. Now comes the hardest part. This has to rest for at least 20 minutes. In these 20 minutes, juices inside the chicken redistribute throughout the meat and results in moist chicken. In these 20 minutes, your rice will be done and we are also going to make a simple gravy. Remember the spine and wing tips? Cook those for a couple of minutes until they turn brown and add some root vegetables. I added some onions, carrots and celery. I had some mushrooms as well, I'm using them. Cook this down for 5 to 10 minutes and add a cup of water along with a couple of bay leaves and a teaspoon of whole cloves. Bring it to a boil and strain the whole mixture. Add the liquid back into the saucepan and reduce it with some chicken stock. And finish it with some lemon juice, salt and pepper. And that is it. Now for serving, it's very easy to carve this chicken. It's very tender and you can literally just pull the parts out. Just to make some cleaner cuts, just run your knife at the thigh joint. And when you find a bone, just give a push with the knife. And to separate leg and the thigh, same here as well. Just run your knife until you hit the joint and give a push with the knife. The wings, just pull them off. Just run your knife to cut the breast pieces. Now we can cut these into 2 halves and serve them as is. Or fill the rib cage and separate it so that you have boneless breasts. Just slice them into smaller pieces and serve it on the platter. Meat on these bones, don't waste this. You can just shred the meat and use it to make a sandwich or a moist maker from Friends. Serve these potatoes with some fresh coriander leaves on the top, and the rice is so fluffy and every grain is separate. It's really good. You can serve this with some yogurt or raita also. And finally the gravy. And that's all. Try this Indian dinner for this Thanksgiving and you will not be disappointed. Now for the sake of this video, I'm going to have an early Thanksgiving dinner. That's it for today guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and consider subscribing. I'll see you next time.